Story 1. So it all started in the dead of night. I was drifting peacefully in the realm of dreams when an overwhelming sense of dread washed over me, jolting me awake. As my eyes fluttered open, I was met with a chilling realization. I couldn't move. Panic surged through my veins as I lay terrified, trapped in my own motionless body. Unable to scream or even twitch a muscle, I strained my eyes, scanning the room for signs of what might have caused this awful paralysis. And that's when I saw it. The most gruesome sight etched into my now fear-stricken memory. Crawling slowly towards me, seemingly materializing from the darkness, was an abomination that defied all reason. Its mangled limbs twisted at unnatural angles, protruding from a grotesque and hunched figure. Its eyes glowed with a sickening luminescence, exuding a malevolence that sent shivers down my spine. As terror gripped me, the creature drew closer, emitting an otherworldly growl that echoed within the confines of the room. I tried to scream, to escape this waking nightmare, but my vocal cords betrayed me, leaving me in a state of silent horror. Frantically, my eyes darted around the room, desperate for a way out. And then, in a stroke of pure luck, my gaze landed on my bedside table. An old, forgotten flashlight. With every ounce of willpower I could muster, I focused my mind, directing my energy towards that flashlight. Miraculously, the flashlight came to life, piercing through the oppressive darkness, casting a small circle of salvation around me. The creature recoiled, tormented by the light, its unearthly shrieks reverberating throughout the room. Emboldened by this newfound weapon, I summoned the strength to push against the veil of paralysis that held me captive. Slowly but surely, I regained control over my body, breaking free from the clutches of immobilization. Seizing this opportunity, I mustered all my courage, shakily rising to my feet. With the flashlight casting its protective glow, I faced the nightmarish entity head-on. It thrashed and writhed, sensing its impending defeat as I advanced towards it, a mix of terror and determination fueling my steps. Without hesitation, I unleashed the full force of the flashlight, bathing the creature in a blinding torrent of light. Its unearthly screeches reached a crescendo, filling the room with an anguished symphony. Then as suddenly as it had appeared, the nightmare vanished. The room returned to normal, devoid of any trace of the sinister presence that had haunted me just moments ago. I collapsed onto my bed, my body shaking with post-traumatic adrenaline. I had survived, but I will not forget what happened that night. Story 2. The hum of the computer filled the room as I sat down, ready to dive into the virtual world and lose myself in its depths. Little did I know that this seemingly ordinary evening would soon turn into a nightmare, as a malevolent force lurked in the shadows, waiting to strike. I clicked on my favorite online gaming platform, eager to escape the monotony of the real world. As the game loaded, a sense of anticipation washed over me, taking me to a realm where I could be anyone or anything. Just as I was about to immerse myself in the virtual landscape, my screen flickered, glitching momentarily. I shrugged it off, thinking it was a minor technical issue, a small hiccup in cyberspace. But as I continued playing, unusual occurrences marred my experience. My character moved on its own, straying from the path I had chosen. The controls became sluggish, unresponsive to my commands. Growing increasingly frustrated, I attempted to exit the game. But before I could, my screen went black, engulfing the room in utter darkness. Panic gripped me as the realization sunk in. Something was horribly wrong. Powerless to combat the darkness, I reached for my phone to call for help, only to find it devoid of signal. My heart raced, my palms sweaty as I felt a presence lingering in the room, an invisible intruder that had breached the fortress of my digital sanctuary. Suddenly, the computer screen illuminated again, lighting up the room in an eerie glow. Letters, numbers, and symbols cascaded down the screen, morphing into a chilling message. "Hello, player. You thought you were safe, didn't you? But in this realm you are at my mercy." Fear clenched my throat, leaving me gasping for air as the gravity of the situation became clear. I had been invaded by a hacker, a mastermind that reveled in toying with its victims. Frantically, I attempted to shut down the computer, but each time I pressed the power button, the screen mocked me, not yielding to my desperate pleas for escape. As I watched the screen in horror, my personal information began to flash before my eyes. Sensitive data that I once trusted to the virtual realm, A chilling voice emanated from the speakers, sending shivers down my spine. "I know who you are. I know everything about you. Your secrets are mine to exploit." Terror raced through my veins as I realized I was being held hostage by an invisible entity. My entire life laid bare for their twisted pleasure. Panic consumed me, tearing at the seams of my sanity, as I struggled to comprehend the extent of this invasion. With each passing moment, the hacker reveled in their dominance, relishing in the power they held over me. My mind raced, searching for a solution, an escape from this cyber prison. But the hacker was always one step ahead, expertly wielding their digital prowess, leaving me in a perpetual state of vulnerability. Hours bled into eternity as the ordeal unfolded, my every move under scrutiny. The hacker's sadistic laughter echoed through the room, tearing at my sanity. And as the night wore on, I became a mere puppet, dancing to the hacker's whims. Finally, in a moment of desperation, a flicker of inspiration sparked within me. Gathering the fragments of strength I had left, I yanked the power cord from the computer, severing the connection that bound me to my tormentor. Silence fell upon the room, broken only by my ragged breaths. Relief washed over me as I realized the hacker's grip had been broken. Story 3. As the night fell, I closed the door behind me, bidding farewell to the office and the monotonous work that had consumed my day. Exhaustion seeped through my bones, longing for the sanctuary of my own home. But little did I know that this journey, this night, would weave a haunting tale that would forever haunt my dreams. Stepping onto the dimly lit streets, I noticed a peculiar figure standing in the distance. It was a clown, donned in brightly colored garments, his face hidden beneath layers of makeup. A chill ran down my spine as my instincts warned me of danger. But attributing my unease to tiredness, I continued walking, my pace quickening. As the streets grew eerily quiet, the flickering streetlights cast long, distorted shadows. Unbeknownst to me, another figure lurked in the darkness, a sinister smile stretching from ear to ear. It was another clown, identical to the first, standing mere meters away from me. Panic surged through my veins, but curiosity impelled me to confront this unfolding nightmare. "Excuse me," I managed to utter, my voice trembling. "What are you doing out here at such an hour?" The clowns remained silent, their unnerving grins unyielding. Their hollow eyes stared into oblivion, unfazed by my inquiry. Fear clenched my heart as I turned away, determined to escape the nightmarish scene. But my steps faltered as the clowns began to follow me, their slow and deliberate movements mimicking a macabre dance. I quickened my pace, darting down alleyways and taking sharp turns, hoping to lose them in the labyrinthine streets. But they were relentless in their pursuit, gaining ground with each step. My heart pounded against my chest, echoing through the desolate night, filling me with a mix of terror and desperation. The sound of their heavy footsteps echoed behind me, a haunting reminder of their presence. I could hear their muffled laughter, a twisted melody fueling my fears. Panic consumed me as I frantically searched for any sign of salvation. The city streets appeared devoid of life, the once familiar surroundings now transformed into a nightmarish playground. Every time I dared to glance back, the clowns were inches away from me, their painted faces contorted with sadistic delight. Their eerily synchronized movement revealed a malicious purpose, one that I couldn't comprehend. My legs burned with exhaustion as I stumbled upon a small park, its serenity shattered by the dark entities relentlessly hunting me down. The shadows morphed around me, elongating their reach, as though the night itself conspired against my escape. Desperation became my ally. Drawing upon every ounce of strength, I sprinted towards a nearby police station, praying for the sanctuary of its brightly lit interior. The clowns pursued me with a relentless determination, their strides impossibly quick, inches away from clasping their hands around my trembling body. With a final surge of energy, I lunged through the doors of the police station, gasping for breath, my body covered in cold sweat. The clowns skidded to a halt, their manic laughter echoing through the night. The officers inside, startled by my disheveled appearance, demanded an explanation. Breathing heavily, I recounted the unimaginable horror that had unfolded before their very eyes. But as the officers stepped outside to confront the threat, the clowns had vanished without a trace, leaving only a lingering sense of unease in their wake. Days turned into months, and the nightmare remained etched in my memory. The city became a prison, holding me captive with its lingering sense of dread. The wary looks of children at circus events, and the faint sound of distant laughter still sent shivers down my spine. I had once believed clowns to represent joy and amusement, but that night shattered all illusions.